Okay, so let's talk about greatness in sports. What does it really mean to be the greatest ever? Is it just the medals, or is there something, more lasting, something that shapes lives way after the cheering stops? Today, we're diving deep into a story that's, well, truly legendary. The 1976 U.S. Olympic boxing team. People often call them the greatest amateur boxing squad ever assembled, and we're going to unpack why. We're using insights from some great sources, including excerpts from 1976 Olympic boxers, from gold to legacy. Our mission really is to give you the shortcut, to get you genuinely well informed about this incredible team. We'll hit you with some surprising facts, maybe a little humor, keep you hooked. We're digging out the key nuggets of knowledge because this isn't just boxing, right? It's about talent, opportunity, and those wild paths life takes after the Olympics.
And it's fascinating when you look at the foundation for why this team is held in such high regard. Montreal Games 1976. They didn't just show up. They dominated 7 medals total.
7.
Wow.
Yeah, 5 golds, 1 silver, 1 bronze. And this was against really tough, top-tier fighters. Think Cuba, the Soviet Union. Even with the African boycott affecting some weight classes, their performance stood out. It wasn't just a fluke. And connecting that to the bigger picture, it wasn't only about the medals they won right then. It really launched some absolutely legendary professional careers. Careers that, fundamentally changed the boxing landscape. That victory against those specific nations, that's key. Unlike the 84 team, which, let's be honest, benefited quite a bit from a bigger boycott, the 76 team's win against that level of competition, that's what fuels the whole greatest ever debate. It's still talked about today.
Right. It's a debate that makes sense. And we're going to get into it, not just the wins at the Arena Maurice Richer, but, what happened next. Their pro careers were all over the map. We'll talk about earnings and spoiler. It ranges from like unbelievable wealth to surprisingly little. And where they are now, as of, let's say, Monday, June 30, 2025. It's about seeing what happens when the Olympic lights dim, the choices they made, and maybe the impact of the boxing industry itself. We'll definitely unpack the big names, Sugar Ray Leonard, the Spinks brothers, Leon and Michael. But, it wasn't just them. The team had depth. Charles Mooney grabbed a silver, John Tate a bronze, and guys like Lou Curtis, Davy Lee Armstrong, Clint Jackson, Chuck Walker Jr., all coached by the legendary Pat Nappy. It's like a whole ecosystem of talent we're digging into. And hey, if you find yourself really getting into these kinds of deep dives, these insightful explorations, you should definitely check out Mind Expansion Daily. Honestly, that's where we often find this kind of rich material that makes these discussions so, so compelling, really gives you fantastic knowledge, just like this.
Exactly. It was an 11-fighter team, and their collective achievement was, pretty remarkable. Those 5 gold medalists really stand out. Leo Randolph, Howard Davis Jr., Sugar Ray Leonard, Michael Spinks, and Leon Spinks. Flyweight up to light heavyweight. It wasn't just individual stars, though. There was a sort of team energy, a synergy that really cemented their place in history.
Okay, so let's kick off with maybe the biggest name to come out of that team, a name that's basically synonymous with boxing greatness, Sugar Ray Leonard. Golden light welterweight was just the beginning, right?
Yeah.
What was it about his path that made him so different, especially financially?
That's the million-dollar question, maybe even the $100 million question in his case. Leonard's pro career, starting 77, Hall of Fame, no question. A fantastic record, 36-3-1, 25 KOs, titles in 5 different weight classes. That's incredible. His WBC welterweight title win in 79 against Wilfred Benitez. That was just the start. Then came those huge, unforgettable fights against guys like Hearns, Hagler, fights that people still talk about. They really captured the public's imagination and the money. Estimates are over $120 million just in fight purses. But here's the crucial part. He or his team really understood the business side. He got those big pay-per-view deals, major endorsements, Coca-Cola, 7UP, you name it. He wasn't just a fighter. He became a brand.
Wow, $120 million then. That's a huge amount of money. So fast forward to now, June 2025. Where's Sugar Ray at? How did that well shape his life today?
Well, Leonard's 69 now, living out in Pacific Palisades, California. He officially hung up the gloves back in 97, but he's definitely stayed in the public eye. His broadcasting work, he's a motivational speaker, very much still a presence. And his total wealth, probably north of $150 million when you factor in smart investments over the years. It really shows his lasting appeal and, frankly, some smart financial moves. He's kind of the prime example of how Olympic glory can lead to sustained wealth. But, and it's a big but, you need the right management and financial know-how.
What a career arc. Okay, let's shift gears. Another incredible story from 76, but so different. Leon Spinks. His journey really throws the variability of it all into sharp relief, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Leon's light heavyweight gold vaulted him straight into the pros, aiming for the heavyweight division. And what's just wild is, with only 7 pro fights, he pulls off that massive upset against Muhammad Ali in '78, wins the undisputed heavyweight title,
Still incredible to think about.
isn't it? That fight alone reportedly made him $325,000, which, in 2025 money is roughly $1.8 million. A huge payday. But Erzan, his time at the top was short. Lost the rematch to Ali, then a loss to Larry Holmes in '81. Pretty much ended his run at the title.
So even with that iconic Ali win, his overall earnings didn't touch Leonard's league, and his financial situation later on was challenging.
Not even close to Leonard's league, and that's really the core lesson here, I think. Leon retired in '95. Record was 26-17-3, 14 KOs, total earnings, maybe around $5 million. But then this goes back to that ecosystem idea. A lot of that money just disappeared. Poor management, lack of solid financial advice, common pitfalls in boxing, sadly. He faced real financial hardships later in life. He passed away in February 2021 from prostate cancer. Died in St. Louis, Missouri with family support, but financially the legacy was quite modest. It makes you ask, right? How can 2 gold medalists from the same legendary team end up in such drastically different places financially?
That's a really powerful question. It just shows how fragile that success can be without the right support network. What about his brother, Michael Spinks? Middleweight gold. His pro career seemed, I recall, maybe somewhere between Leon's struggles and Sugar Ray's huge success.
Yeah, Michael Spinks had a stellar pro career, too.
Yeah.
He went undefeated for a long stretch, ended up 31-1 with 21 KOs, held the WBA, WBC, and IBF light heavyweight titles, unified champion. Then he made history in '85. Moved up to heavyweight and beat Larry Holmes, becoming the first reigning light heavy champ to win the heavyweight title. That was massive. His career earnings, over $10 million. That Holmes fight alone got him $1.1 million.
Okay, so significantly more than Leon, though not Leonard territory. How's Michael Spinks doing these days? Did he handle his money better?
He definitely did. Michael retired in '88. He's 68 now, lives a pretty quiet life down in Wilmington, Delaware. His net worth is estimated somewhere in the $5 to $10 million range. That really points to some smart financial decisions after his boxing career ended. He seems to have navigated the whole thing pretty effectively, maybe learning from what he saw around him. It's a good example of how solid planning can really secure your future long term.
Right. So we've got Leonard at the top, wealth-wise. Leon, despite the massive Ali upset, facing major struggles. And Michael finding a comfortable, secure middle ground. Just those 3 tell such a complex story about management, advice, maybe just luck too. But what about the other medal winners? Their stories add more layers, right?
They absolutely do. Take Leo Randolph, the flyweight gold medalist. Turned pro in '78, even won the WBA super bantamweight title in 1980, but he retired pretty young, 1982. Record was 17-2. His earnings were, well, modest compared to the others we've discussed, maybe around $500,000 total. Short career, fewer big money fights. As of now, June 2025, Randolph, 68, lives in Tacoma, Washington. He actually works as a truck driver, stays involved in local boxing. His net worth, likely under $1 million. His story just shows, even gold doesn't automatically mean a long, rich pro career. People make different choices.
And Howard Davis Jr. lightweight gold, plus he won the Val Barker Trophy for best technical boxer. I mean, supremely gifted.
Immensely talented. Howard Davis Jr. turned pro in '77, had a decent record, 36-6-1. But he challenged for world titles 3 times and came up short each time. His earnings were around $2 million total. But again, like Leon Spinks, his career seems to have been really hampered by inconsistent management, promotional problems. It's that recurring theme. Talent isn't always enough if the business side isn't handled well. Sadly, he passed away in December 2015 from lung cancer. His family keeps his memory alive down in Miami.
Such a shame. Okay, what about John Tate, heavyweight bronze medalist? How did his career play out? What's his story? Tell us.
Tate turned pro in '77 too. And he actually won the WBA heavyweight title in '79, beat Gary Coetzee. Made $500,000 for that fight alone, which was big money then.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. But he lost the title really quickly to Mike Weaver in 1980 and just never quite got back to that elite level.
Yeah.
Retired in '88 with a 34-3 record, earned around $3 million overall. Tragically, though, he died in a car accident back in 1998 in Knoxville, Tennessee. And it seems, unfortunately, that much of that $3 million didn't translate into a lasting financial legacy. It's another example, really, of how substantial earnings in boxing can just vanish without careful planning.
Man, that's tough to hear. And then Charles Mooney, the silver medalist in bantamweight, he went a completely different route, right?
Totally different. Mooney chose the military over pro boxing, served a full career, retired as a staff sergeant. He did do some training of pro boxers later on,
Right.
but his income stayed pretty modest. He's in his 70s now, living in Fort Hood, Texas, enjoying his retirement. Lifetime earnings probably under $500,000. His path is a really powerful reminder that not everyone sees pro boxing as the ultimate goal after Olympic success. People define success differently.
Absolutely. And we also had Louis Curtis, Davy Lee Armstrong, Clint Jackson, Chuck Walker Jr. What happened with them generally? Did they follow similar patterns of, well, varied results?
Pretty much, yeah. Their paths were also varied, but generally, they didn't see big professional paydays, and they've kept lower profiles. Louis Curtis didn't get far in the Olympics, had a very short pro run, minimal earnings, made $50K. Hard to know his current status, likely living privately. Davy Lee Armstrong had a decent pro career, 24-3, won a regional title, maybe earned around $300,000. He passed away back in 2016. Clint Jackson fought pro, went 25-7, earned maybe $400,000. He's in his 60s now, reportedly working odd jobs over in Nashville. And Chuck Walker Jr., also a brief pro career, maybe $100,000 in earnings. His current situation is pretty unknown. Seems he's kept a very low profile. These guys just further underscore that Olympic fame, even being part of that team, is no guarantee of a lucrative or stable pro career. Boxing's just a tough, complex business. So if you pull all these stories together, what does it mean? The 1976 team's legacy as the greatest, I think it fundamentally rests on that amazing medal count and the quality of the competition they beat. It's less about every single guy becoming a huge pro star and more about what they achieved together on that Olympic stage.
But what's really striking is the sheer range of what happened after. You've got Sugar Ray Leonard leveraging everything perfectly into like $150 million plus. Then Leon Spinks, who had that massive moment against Ali, but struggled financially due to poor management. You see Michael Spinks securing a comfortable future through smarter moves, contrasted with Leo Randolph, building a life outside the ring as a truck driver. You see the talent of someone like Howard Davis Jr., maybe not fully realized professionally because of management issues. And then the tragedies, like John Tate, who earned millions but died young with little left, or Charles Mooney, choosing a completely different path in the military. It's just a whole spectrum. And this huge difference in outcomes, it really screams for better financial education, better support systems for athletes in boxing. That whole idea that Olympic success just automatically leads to lifelong wealth, it's mostly a myth. So many talented fighters get chewed up by the business side. Poor advice, it's something people are still talking about on social media in 2025, boxer welfare. Talent alone just isn't enough.
It really isn't. And as the guys who are still with us get older, Leonard 69, Michael Spinks 68, Randolph 68, Jackson in his 60s, Mooney in his 70s, their stories, their contributions, they just keep resonating, don't they? Their impact, how the sport changed, it really invites us to keep looking, keep analyzing. It shows you just how complex pro sports are and the human stories inside them. Makes you think about, well, what might have been and the lessons learned along the way.
Exactly. So maybe the provocative thought for you, the listener, to take away is this. How much does that raw natural talent actually matter compared to everything else around the athlete? The management quality, the access to financial literacy, that whole support system, what really defines a great legacy that lasts, beyond the final bell.
We really hope this deep dive gave you a unique angle on this legendary team and maybe on what it takes to build something that endures. If you enjoy getting these kinds of surprising facts, these deep insights that help you get truly well-informed quickly and thoroughly, please do like and subscribe to Mind Expansion Daily wherever you get your deep dives. We're always here trying to help you genuinely expand your understanding. So until next time, keep exploring.